Hello everyone and welcome back to some more Shining Song Starnova with me, Phantom Zwei. When we last left off, we had caught Julie in the act of fleecing some poor young men out of their paychecks. It seems this is what she does on the side, but she's now trying to be an idol with Shining Productions, so let's see if the producer carries through with his threats to terminate her. Alright, here we go. And yet, despite what happened the previous night, what was this girl still doing here? She sure had a lot of gall to show her face again after everything that went down. You... What? It's not like I'm fired yet. Besides, you sure took off in a hurry yesterday night. We couldn't even finish talking. Just what more was there to talk about? I haven't changed my mind. I'm still open to doing anything to make last night disappear from your memory. Please don't say things which can be misinterpreted so easily. What's the problem? Stuff like this is only natural for an idol management company. You know the saying, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So what do you say, producer-san? Why don't you put this unruly idol in her place? What the hell kind of idol nukie scenario was she trying to set up here? I once again rubbed my face in exasperation. I'm not going to be one of your toys. I'm an idol producer, not some sleazy AV pimp. You're still a man, aren't you? I'll give you the full course treatment. The whole night, all for you. And of course, totally complimentary for you, producer-san. Was this girl for real? Just offering herself up like that? Julie leaned into me just close enough for me, or rather for her scent to melt through my senses. Of course, even I had to admit that everything physical about Julie was absolutely stunning. It must be the way Japanese blood coils around foreign DNA or something, because her face was the best of both Hollywood and Harajuku. Wait, shit! What was I thinking? Aren't you a little curious to get to know your idol better, producer-san? Julie grinned softly, her lips slightly parted. I blinked and tore my eyes away, lest they drown in the azure sea glimmering beyond her eyes. But my mind was already racing. It was only my third day, and one of my idols was already trying to seduce me? What the hell have I gotten myself into? I gulped and held back the various fantasies playing out in the back of my head. Well, if you insist, I guess there's no harm in accepting. Except there definitely would be. But you're still wasting your time, because a deal's a deal. Alright! Julie broke into a grin. Suddenly, guilt bit into my chest that I had to fire her when she was so happy. Wait, why was I the one feeling guilty? It's not like I've done anything wrong. Clever girl. But my duty was to the company. There was no way I'd let a loose woman like her into Starnova. After all, I still had my dream, to create the greatest idol group of all time. I shook my head and returned to work as Julie discreetly tapped her cell against mine. Then I'll be seeing you later, producer-san. I shrugged, trying my best to look completely unexcited about her offer. Oh boy. And again, I have played these early scenes through in the demo, so I know what's happening here, but if you haven't seen this before, then, you know, we're in for a bit of a treat. Night came, and right on cue, my cell beeped. I'm under the usual street lamp. Can't wait to get to know my new producer. Well, if she wasn't going to charge me, I guess I had nothing to lose. I met Julie at the appointed place. See. She's gonna voice this part, apparently. Before I could react, Julie wrapped herself around my arm. Well, I'm still not going to change my mind, though. We walked through the crowded street, Julie clinging to my arm like a love-struck schoolgirl. It's worth noting that this part was not voiced in the original demo. I do remember that much, so... we see some new additions here. What? You make it sound like any horny guy can become a producer. Listen, pretty girls are great and all, but you're not going to get far in the business if you're just a dumb animal. Talents are like products. You fashion them to appeal to a certain demand, and if you've done your homework, then you end up with a hit. Otherwise, both the talent and producer are going to be out of a job.
うん。その通りだと思います。
You're just saying that, aren't you?
いやいや、本心です。ほら、接客業だって客からコールが来たら一刻も早く客を査定しないといけないでしょ。今時ググったら一瞬で誰がどんな趣味嗜好してるのかわかるから、実際に仕事が始まったら弱みにつけ込めばいいってことよ。こんな楽な稼ぎ方他にありませんよ。要はキモい奴らを避けてぼっちなヘタレくんたちの相手だけすればいいってこと。
A spider indeed. Has anyone told you that you're a terrible person?
自分で言ったんじゃない。アイドルもそんなに変わらないって。
But you're not supposed to laugh at your fans if you're an idol. You really enjoy doing this, don't you? Messing with guys' heads, having them fawn over you.
たくさんの男たちにもてはやされたくないアイドルなんているかしら。それに外見は一番自信あるんだから。
So does that mean that you're not confident about the other things about yourself?
ちょっと仕事の話をするために呼んだんじゃないの。さ、遊びに行きましょう。
Julie led me into a Western-style bar.
日本の店ではよく水で薄められたものだけ出すけどプロデューサーさんはアメリカの本物に耐えられるかしら。
This excuse me. This is still Japan. Besides, men's bodies can hold more alcohol.
じゃあこのショット2つお願い。
120 proof. This little girl thinks she can handle this? Well, I wasn't about to stand down from a challenge. The bartender poured a neon red liquid into 2 shot glasses after I paid for the order.
こうしよ
Julie held up her shot glass and intertwined her arm with mine, so that she would be the one pouring the shot into my mouth, while I would be the one pouring it into hers.
う。最後までよ。乾杯。
Cheers. Julie sank the whole shot down my mouth. The taste of cherries masked the shot's most likely rancid flavor. After settling in my stomach, warmth remained in my throat, like all strong liquor. Julie eyed me with a mischievous smirk.
こういうのは初めて？
I didn't particularly feel like answering her question.
はあ？
Julie sneered as if my silence was tantamount to admission.
ねえ、プロデューサーさん、彼女いたことある？
Aren't you the one in hot water here?
ごめんごめん。でもね、私はここにいるよ。
Julie leaned over and rubbed my back.
ねえ、ショットもう2つ。
Bartender. The subject of Julie's termination became an increasingly distant memory as the ethanol-infused night went on. For some reason, Julie kept bringing more drinks to the table. For some reason, herp-a-derp. Normally, I would have been dubious about her intentions, but the free drinks lifted all the stress from my shoulders. Several interestingly colored drinks vanished as my mind floated far away to a happier place.
プロデューサーさんってば、聞こえる？
With my worries gone, a sense of clarity came over me. I understood it now. In the end, all men were lonely. We knew that our 2D waifus were fake and that we could never go out with 3D idols. But we still wanted to cling on to that belief. If we just sprayed enough money into our hopes and dreams, maybe we could keep the illusion going for but a beat longer. Alas, we knew it all to be a lie, but such a beautiful lie it was indeed. A lie worth becoming broke over. A lie worth jumping into a bed of proverbial spikes over. That's the nature of this idle business, eh? All but the pursuit of an ideal which cannot exist.
何を言ってるの？わけわからないわ。
Reality is a bitter thing. I should be making him sound more sloshed, I guess. At the satisfactory state of inebriation, I stood from my seat.
もう終わり？
Yeah.
じゃあ、
Quite a few Julies approached me. I vaguely felt the sensation of being led out of the bar. The fresh air outside returned a modicum of lucidity to my senses. Somehow, the chilly winter air no longer felt as sharp against my face. Anyways, what a strange turn of events. What was this S-tier girl doing, clinging to my arm like I was some kind of hotshot idol executive? Honestly, I was at a loss as to what to do. In the end, I was just an unknown producer at an unknown talent agency. In other words, I was pretty much a nobody. I should have never gotten involved in this mess. This was exactly the sort of trouble I didn't want to deal with.
結構酔ってるわね。もう少しであのこともきれいさっぱり消えるわ。よし、最後の大一番よ。ねえ、プロデューサーさん、このままこの道を歩いていったらどうなると思う？
え？
だって誤解されやすいでしょ。裏若きアイドルとプロデューサーがこんな遅い時間に。
Shit! Now that I think about that, it was a pretty bad situation. How did he just now realize that? Like, that was... This guy... It's weird, because sometimes he's, like, sharp about these things, and sometimes he's, like, the total, typical, or rather stereotypical VN protagonist that's just herpa-derping through the world. Anyway. If word got out about this, I could be the one getting sacked. Well, I'm sure it's alright. If we don't make a scene or anything, I doubt anyone will even notice us. Besides, it's not like we're famous or anything. We don't have the paparazzi tailing us, trying to sneak photographs.
あ、なるほど。
Julie pulled out her cell.
今晩の記念にチーズ。
She nonchalantly snapped a selfie, which is, of course, her insurance.
要するに、まだ注目されない立場だから何でもし放題ってこと？
Well, I guess that's right.
じゃ、ここでキスしても誰も気にしない？
Oi! What are you saying? Julie tightened her grip, sinking my arm into her breast. She bit her lower lip as her boobs squeezed together. I unconsciously gulped as Julie electrocuted my loins with a wicked wink. Danger, producer-san!
本気にしちゃって。
She loosened her grip.
安心して、プロデューサーさん。ちょっとしたいたずらよ。でも、オフレコなら別にいいじゃない？人が見てないところではみんないろいろやってるの。ガス抜きが必要でしょ？わざわざ言いふらすようなことでもないし。
Well...
でも、プロデューサーさんに迷惑かけるようなことはもうしない。男たちと遊ぶのもやめて、これからちゃんとアイドルやっていきます。当然ながら、あなたは例外よ。事務所のタレントをクビにするのも面倒でしょ？美味しいネタがあればみんなあれこれ言い放題なのよ。最近の芸能界のトラブルとか考えてみて。
She was right that I didn't even want to touch that issue with a 3-meter-long pole.
昨夜のことはなかったことにするのが私たちにとって一番無難。そうよね。
In the end, I went home having decided that if Julie deleted everything related to her nighttime activities off the net and dedicated herself to becoming an idol, I would forget about the incident. It's not as if I caught her taking the walk of shame out of the apartment of some boy band's lead guitarist. I'm sure nobody would even know about Julie's secret history if I didn't make a big deal out of it. Probably. I'm sure that won't come back to bite us. Anyways, I wasn't going to make a mountain out of a molehill by treating her little side job as anything bigger than it actually was. Even though he actually totally was going to. Just gonna forget about this. And move on. It wasn't until a great deal of time had passed that I realized just how much Julie had played me. Yeah, she really did. Alright, next day.
Producer?
Good morning, producer-san. Oh, Good morning. It's just the usual lesson today. Julie went downstairs with a smile. Sasami poked her head out from the break room. I don't really know what happened, but it looks like things turned out alright with Julie-chan. It's still too early to tell whether things worked out or not, but we've come to a truce of some sort. She's still dangerous, though. Girls like her bring risk to an idol group. We might be unknown now, but once Starnova properly debuts, everyone will be expected to comply with the code of conduct. There won't be any second chances for her. Make sure she keeps her end of the bargain. Of course, Producer-san. Aki poked her face out from behind a whiteboard, and he says make sure she keeps her end of the bargain, but Sasami doesn't know the bargain. Nobody but the producer and Julie actually knew about it, but anyway. Aki poked her face out from behind a whiteboard. Something reeks of fishiness. Oh! Natan sniffed her armpit, wondering if Aki was talking about her. Not you! I mean them! You suppose Sasa-chan's finally accepted P-kun's feelings? Eh? What are you talking about? I'll bet P-kun resigned his job at Golden Goat to follow Sasa-chan here. It's a secret love between an idol and her producer. Listen here. First, it's Golden Calf. And second, I hear the producer was actually sacked. Honestly, the whole thing's strange all over. For them to suddenly be getting along so well, when the day before yesterday, Sasa-chan could hardly bear to look him in the eye. Hey, just what's your relationship with the producer anyways? Relationship? Ah, like did your folks set you up with a marriage with him or something? Shut up, you bumpkin. It's obviously not that. You used to work with him, right? Just how did the two of you end up here when you were signed on with Golden Calf? Well, actually, I never even spoke to the producer while we were at Golden Calf. It's a big agency, spread over 15 floors on a skyscraper, so even if we both worked at the same place, the chances of us actually crossing paths were small. Listen here, it's obvious that there's something going on between you two. Yet you expect us to believe that you haven't even spoken to each other before coming here? But maybe their families be feuding, so they gotta keep their feelings secret. Forbidden romance. I can't say it's anything quite so dramatic. Actually, it's more like he saved me from a bad situation. I can't really talk about it in detail, but I owe the producer a debt. After all, it's my fault that he ended up like this. I can't hear you. Speak louder. I kinda get it, but I kinda don't. Hey, you two, give Sasa-chan some room. I'm sure you guys wouldn't appreciate it if someone hassled you about your life story. Oh, Mariah! You're looking energetic today. Well, I wasn't up all night tending to middle-aged geezers with marital issues. Sasa-chan, let me give you some advice. I always hear one of two stories coming from men in this city. Either they're complaining they don't have a woman, or they're complaining about their woman. They say that on average a man thinks about sex 4 times a day, and considering how well sex sells nowadays, you'd think the real numbers are more like 9 or 10 times a day. The real world's dirty. Men are horny, and women are dumb. Life ain't some shoujo manga. So take your mind off that producer and look out for yourself. Mariah sure got fooled by a guy during her girlhood, huh? Hey! Don't go writing my backstory by yourself. Anyways, I don't think the producer's like that. I guess it can't be helped. Girls your age tend to look at the world with rose-tinted goggles. The goggles don't crack till you've been fooled a few times. Empty laughter echoed inside Mariah's chest. Looks like Mariah's getting flashbacks. Will you just... Natan leaped away before Mariah could whack her on top of the head. Safe! Well, I guess the producer's not too bad. Mariah looked at Julie with shock upon learning that her compatriot had flipped sides. Don't get the wrong idea. He's probably just a Class A loser who got fired from his real job and washed up here. And I'll bet he's just a stupid virgin, too. I can totally see him curling up to an eroge dakimakura every night, and repeating to himself that 2D is all he needs. Huh. Anyways, I doubt he's a player or anything. I guess he's more like just a loser. I don't think he's got the guts to try and trick us, though. Huh. It's not like I particularly like him or anything. I'm just saying. Could it be that Julie-chan's taking a liking for the producer, too? Tsundere mode on! Natsuki jumped behind Julie and split her hair into twin tails. As expected, tsunderes need blonde twin tails. What a perfect specimen. Don't just toss me into a character archetype. Don't worry, we all need to choose our character types eventually anyways. Hey you. Mariah eyed Julie. Something happened between you and the producer last night, didn't it? Well, not really? What? Quit staring at me. Looks like the break's over. Let's practice. Practice! Suspicious. Very suspicious. It's turning into a love nest here. So, I said this when I played the demo, I think, and I'll say it again. To me, it doesn't make any sense as to why Julie suddenly warmed up to the producer just because he decided not to fire her, because she totally played him in order to achieve that result. So wouldn't she just think that he's an idiot for being so easily fooled by her, like every other guy that she plays around or played around with? Because at least assuming that she is keeping her word and is not playing around at night anymore. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We'll take it at face value. I walked downstairs and entered the dance studio. Oh, it's Oni-chan! The girls gathered around me. For once, I smiled and delivered good news. Looks like the date of your debut live has been decided. Debut live? You mean it's really happening? Oh, right! Someone pinched my face. This isn't a dream, right? Natsuki chopped Mariah on top of her head. Ow, the hell? Guess it's not a dream. You. I showed the girls a flyer for a live house near Akiba. Anasong Night. Local talent sing the latest anime songs. March 11th. Seeing the flyer... excuse me. Seeing the flyer somewhat deflated the girls' energy. Anasong Fest? I thought you said this was supposed to be our debut live. Well, since it would be too difficult to hold our own live, the manager of the live house has agreed to let us sing our debut song at the event. Of course, we will be singing covers of Anna songs as well. I should have known. And no matter how you look at it, a real debut live's just not in the cards for no-name losers like us, eh? Well, I still think it's a good idea. Since there'll be people there for the event, it's not like we have to worry about singing on to an empty room. Mariah shuddered. Please, anything but that. Speaking from past experiences, eh? The beginning chapter where we work our asses off for our debut live, then we finally stand on our first stage, only to discover that nobody's bothered to show up when the curtain rises. That's one experience I never want to experience ever again. So something like that has happened in Mariah-chan's past, eh? What a tear-filled backstory. Right out of an idol drama anime. Love Live! Shut it! Well, all idol units must begin somewhere, no? Well, I guess it's not too bad for our first live. Anyways, Anna songs, huh? Do you have a list of songs you want us to sing? Actually, I thought you girls would have a better idea of what songs are popular right now. Can't really say I know much about anime. Mika's like, I kinda want to speak up, but... Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with that fandom either. Natan knows nothing! It's always the same stuff that's popular, right? How about the melancholy of Haruhi? What era are you guys from? That show's pretty much ancient history now. Oh, that hurts Aki. Because that show was so popular when I was growing up, but anyway. No, if you're talking about the pandemic sweeping across Japan right now, it's definitely Love Live. So we're an idol group who sings songs by fictitious, more popular idol groups? It's a cultural phenomenon, right? What's wrong with it? You have a problem? But... I offered a notepad to the girls. Please write down a set list for covers for the live. I believe 3 covers should be sufficient. Aki eagerly took the notepad. Okay, don't worry, Oni-chan. Aki-chan's got this! I let the girls work out the set list. We have approximately a month until the live. Please mind your lessons carefully in the coming weeks. Such enthusiasm. The end of the day arrived. I walked downstairs to the studio on a certain matter. Good work, everyone. Good work. The girls gained a sliver of motivation thanks to the news of the live. While they still had a long way to go, it seemed like they were coalescing to something resembling a unit. With one exception. As I feared, Mika was the oddball of the group. Thanks to her one-woman fantasy act, the other girls were maintaining a wide circumference around her. In a way, Shunibyo were loners. They operated on a wavelength different from regular people. Out of all the girls, Mika was the most challenging to figure out. Underneath her fake persona, she felt like an awkward recluse. What was a girl like that doing trying to become an idol? Mika noticed me watching her. What does the Black Knight... Actually, is she voicing this part too? I was wondering. You watched the most late-night anime out of all the girls here, right? Oh, okay. No. Indeed. I monitor the airwaves dutifully to learn the latest happenings throughout the kingdom. Then could you help out with a live? You must already know all the latest Anna songs by heart. That is... More importantly, which direction do the crows fly tonight? If eastwards, it means the Holy Crusade is approaching. We must make haste to prepare our defenses. Avoiding the topic, were we? Just a second, water break. I've had a lot of issues with my throat recently, so I'm trying to really pace myself and drink a lot more water. Especially since I actually have time today, so I'm hoping to record a few episodes. Anyway, let's continue. This girl, she was obviously having trouble fitting in with the rest of the group. I had to do something so they could all work together as a team. The Lord of the Night has a mission for you, lowly one. What the hell was I doing? Suddenly, I got agonizing flashbacks to my junior high days, when I got into anime for the first time. I was such a dumbass in those days, marching around school like I was the protagonist of some anime, embarrassing myself in front of all the girls. Ugh. Just thinking about all the humiliating things which left my mouth during those years made me cringe hard enough for my teeth to shatter. Oh! This one is ready in both mind and body. What orders do you carry from the Lord? She was just going to play along with it? I had to push forward. This was for the sake of the unit. Yes, I'm sure he isn't enjoying this at all. A battle looms on the horizon, one which could determine the fate of the realm. This one is ready to lay down her life. Then good! For I shall require your services in preparing for that bloody day. You are to prepare songs of the denizens of the late night, to rally our warriors. Bring them to your fellow bards, and lead them in this endeavor. Understood. Mika's act shattered to pieces as soon as she realized what I was getting at. Unfortunately, that will prove a difficult task. While I am well-versed in the songs you seek, I'm afraid I lack other qualifications. In other words... Mika outstretched her arms and opened her palms as if to say, just look at me. Years of staying up all night and sleeping in all day have made me into what society would call a human failure. No employment, education, or training. I can't approach the other girls. They shine so brightly my eyes hurt. They speak so fast, I cannot keep up. I only have life experience and one-on-one conversations at best. Speaking to 6 other girls simultaneously is like playing on nightmare mode. It is simply not possible. The other girls? Shine? I hated to speak poorly of my own talents, but Mika was overestimating their power levels. For all intents and purposes, the other girls were just normies playing it, or rather, trying to become celebrities. Hardly industry icons to be dazzled blind by. But you wanted to become an idol, right? Isn't that why you're here? Inspired after watching a certain idol anime, I felt motivated to turn my life around by seeking employment in an industry which I was familiar with. But a successful re-entry into society proved more difficult than anticipated. In short, I'm not sure if I'm cut out for this line of work. I am sorry. Mika bowed to me in defeat. Don't talk to me as if you were handing in your letter of resignation. Besides, what was it with this girl? She went and signed on with a talent agency just because of an anime? Did she even know what she was in for? I sighed. But I should have figured. Stories like this were rampant in the industry. I sat through quite a few interviews where some applicants would tell me they wanted to become an idol because they kept seeing how happy idols were on TV, and how they get to wear pretty dresses all the time. Basically, girls signed on with a very mistaken notion of what it actually was to become an idol. It's not easy becoming an idol. Many girls suffer and get hurt. It requires devotion and willingness to get back up after getting pushed down. While many do not make it, I still believe it's something worthwhile. Go me, leading this girl on like this. I guess giving these pep talks was part of my duty as a producer, but I always wondered, was I doing the right thing? Maybe it'd be better if they quit now if they had doubts. Was it alright to lead these girls on when I fully knew that most of what most likely awaited them was a life of suffering and failure? Doubts crept into my mind. No, I had to stop these thoughts. I still had a dream, to become this country's greatest idol producer. Just like these girls, I had to give it my all to accomplish my dream. The road may be difficult, but we're all driven by our love of idols. That's why I can't stop either. Producer-san's more reliable than I thought. Ahem. Indeed! Your words have rejuvenated this one, Black Knight. The night is absolute, but let me try that again. The night is absolute, but we shall hold steadfast, for our lord has no place in his ranks for weaklings. With that, Mika returned to her one-woman delusion. Somehow, though, I felt as if I had gotten closer to her. Actually, do you have some free time now? Let me try that again. Let's say we make a pilgrimage to the holy grounds. Our mana reserves run low. We must seek the source of the gospel to recharge. Black Knight, you speak the truth. This one has been neglecting her mana. Holy Crusaders be cursed, so that the cause may... so that must be the cause of my recent foibles. Let us make haste and seek the one truth. Reading her dialogue is, really difficult for me. I get lost in her crazy manner that she speaks. I thanked my ancestors that the other girls had already left by now, and entirely missed this scene. If a bunch of girls who wanted to become pop idols found out the producer was a Chunibyo-crazed maniac otaku, it would be the end of me. Don't blame me. Porn, anime, and idols were the three pillars of Neo-Akiba. Often all three at the same time. So it was part of my duty as a producer to remain in the know about what was trending. With an enormous grin, Mika marched out of the dance stage. Lead the way, Black Knight! Alright. One moment. Okay. We exited the train station and arrived at a familiar sight. I like that we have the Sunrider poster over here. And Sunrider Academy as well. Okay. Year after year, this place always changed, but somehow kept selling the exact same things. The character designs might change, and the story details might be different, but the underlying best-selling formula will never change. 2D girlfriend, 2D girlfriend, 2D girlfriend. This season it might be ship girls. Next season it might be monster girls. Then cat girls. Whatever the adjective, the key operating noun will always be girlfriend. We in the idol industry, of course, sold 3D girls, which added various complications. So we had to 2Dify real girls. Real 3D girls had various problems relating to their marketability. So the job of producers was to cut these problems out, and present 2D-ified images of 3D girls on television, computer screens, and printed media. But enough of that. I was here today as a consumer, not a producer. First, we must hit the second-hand figurine stores. Mika sped ahead, now no longer even bothering to keep up with her act. We arrived at a shop filled with glass display cases maintaining a veritable mountain of anime figurines. Excuse me. These stores were a balancing game between price and quality. Thousands of figurines in almost every conceivable condition were sold at almost every inconceivable price. Sometimes you would luck out and find just the right item you needed to complete your home collection for a bargain bin price, while other times you would buy what you thought was a great deal, only to discover that the store next door was selling the same figurine for half of what you paid. Mika stared at a veritable impressive figurine. Let me try that again. Veritably impressive figurine of a highly armored gothic Lolita mounting an enormous sword into the air. She stared at it like a hungry wolf that had just spotted a fat juicy rabbit. This figurine was from the popular anime series Black Opera, a gothic action drama where idols fought each other not only with song and dance, but massively oversized weapons as well. So this was the source of Mika's delusions. Fortunately, Mika's dreamy smile vanished when she saw the 40,000 yen price tag. Maybe another store will have it for cheaper. One day, when I'm a famous idol, I'll be able to afford figurines like this. I couldn't help but laugh at Mika's lamentation. So you want to become an idol to be able to buy anime figurines? Wrong! Black Knight, when you look at this figurine, doesn't it make you want to become part of that character's world? Shed our mediocre existences, and become a gothic Lolita idol with a claymore! That's why I wanted to become an idol. I could totally understand what Mika was saying. This town was what made me want to become a producer, too. I remember when I was younger sneaking out of here, as if I was committing a crime. Back then, you had to hide your interest in this stuff more, but that might have just made it more fun. Somehow, my life before finding out about this world was gray. I guess that's what gives my life color. You are truly my brethren, Black Knight. Aww. Okay. After looking around the store more, we headed to our next destination. We arrived at an arcade. Rows upon rows of UFO catchers lined up in the floor of the arcade. I swear, these UFO catchers were scams, all of them. I once spent 3,000 yen here and never got even a single catch. Of course, just when you think that, you see a guy walking out lugging a bag of prizes like Santa Claus hauling off a sack of gifts on Christmas Eve. Those guys definitely had to have been planted by the arcade owners to give the illusion that there was actually a chance of a chance of grabbing something good. The dastardly UFO catchers are as slick as ever. But what is this? Mika honed in on a machine offering a slightly cheap-looking Black Opera figurine inside a box. Obviously less care had been taken in detailing the character's facial features and hair, and it lacked any kind of heavy weaponry. Still, a figurine was a figurine. The box hung off the ledge, which led to the prize gate by a few centimeters. From the looks of it, just a tiny nudge seemed enough to finally knock it over through the hole. Huh, yeah right. I'd fallen for that trick enough times to know that in reality, I had a better shot at becoming the frontman of a trendy male idol unit at my age than winning one of these. The siren songs are strong. I cannot resist. Mika reached into her coin purse and pulled out 300 yen coins and put them in the machine. I'd just try pushing the box off with the UFO's body instead of trying to grab it with the claws. Mika pressed the buttons to manipulate the UFO, her brows furrowed with concentration. Ah! She held the back button for too long, moving the UFO too far back. It dropped down, one of the claws grazing the far side of the box, but otherwise having no effect. I can yet recoup my losses. Mika put another 300 yen into the machine. Ah yes, this was how the arcade remained in business throughout the years. The Great Recession, increasing consumption taxes, and inflation all be damned. People just had to get their anime figurines. You could say this entire town was built upon that principle. Mika gritted her teeth as she maneuvered the UFO slightly to the right of the box, so that it would tip the box into the hole when it dropped down. Unfortunately, the UFO moved back up as soon as it hit the edge of the box, its claws sliding off the sides. For a moment, the box wobbled about a millimeter before returning to its position. Mika hissed in frustration and put in another set of coins. Mika, stop it, before you whittle away your entire life savings on this futile adventure. Somehow, the image of an unemployed middle-aged man mindlessly playing inside the... Let me try that again. Somehow, the image of an unemployed middle-aged man mindlessly playing inside the pachinko parlor came into my mind. I hinted that we should leave by looking outside of the arcade. Suddenly, I heard a thunk beside me. I did it! Mika reached into the prize receptacle and proudly held onto her new figurine. Wait, how did you... Thanks to me looking away at the wrong time, I had missed the crucial moment when the laws of the universe were bent and an Akiba UFO machine yielded a prize. Shit! I missed my chance to learn the trick behind these machines. If only I had paid attention. An arcade employee arrived to replace the figurine box inside the machine. Her prize firmly in hand, Mika marched out of the arcade with a satisfied look on her face. After browsing some more of the stores, we went back to the station. Mika held her new figurine in front of her with a proud look on her face. Today's loot proved bountiful. Perhaps you are a lucky charm, Black Knight. I will do well to keep you near. I'm a producer, not a charm for you to buy at a shrine. Just then, Mika's stomach growled loudly. The rush of victory has drained my mana. Come to think of it, we haven't had dinner yet, have we? I guess you forget the trivial things like that when you're having fun with a fellow denizen of Akiba, and a girl to boot. Should we go grab something? Indeed. Lead the way, Black Knight. The two of us went to a nearby cafe. The smell of bread made my taste buds salivate. Mika got a tray and placed a sausage bread on top. After checking out our food, we took our seats at a table. I see that the Lord of the Night's judgment was not misplaced. You are indeed worthy of this one's faith. It brings this one joy to see another of the faith has come. While we number few against the followers of the light, once we muster our forces, our new era shall begin. Ahem. Actually, the real reason I took you out was to help you get along with the other girls. So the Black Knight had ulterior motives. Foibles be upon this one. I love the way she talks. Hashimoto-san. There's a time for fun, but being an idol also means that you're an adult working in society. Working in society? Adult? Even if we're in the otaku industry, it's still an industry, meaning we're workers in a company. We're not the consumers, we're the creators. It's a totally different thing. I understand. Sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do just to make a living. Well, actually, most of the time we have to do things we don't want to do to make a living. Being a popular idol takes more than just liking anime. You never see it on television, but an idol's success is built upon a pillar of blood. I sighed. I probably just sounded like I was pointing out the obvious. People just nodded their heads and said, I figured as much whenever someone pointed out that being an idol was hard work. Unless they had experienced it firsthand, no one could ever imagine the pressures these girls faced. An idol was a symbol of perfection, a standard no girl could meet, no matter her effort. Well, I guess you'll experience it firsthand soon enough. Anyways, remember that your teammates are working alongside you, and I'm still here as your producer. Everyone here is a part of this industry. It's nice working with people who all share a common dream, so there's no need to be a loner. If those are the Black Knight's words, then this one shall take heed. There wasn't much more I could say. Some things just couldn't be effectively communicated through words. But I felt that I had to protect Mika. She was just a foolhardy girl who had no idea just what kind of industry she was stepping into. Or was that my own moe delusions getting the better of me? In the end, it was just another... Let me try that again. In the end, it was just other clever guys like me who wrote up scenarios which deluded losers into thinking they could protect some innocent girl. In the end, I guess this just meant I was a shit otaku too. I shook myself out of these thoughts. I was Mika's producer. I was definitely going to make her into Japan's next top idol. I, of all people, couldn't begin to doubt myself. With my confidence gathered, I finished the rest of my bread. We left the cafe after finishing our small dinner. Mika ran ahead and turned around. Oh, a little bit of thunder outside. Today was fun. Let us do this again sometime, Black Knight. Yeah. Was it just me, or did this little outing feel more like a date rather than a professional team-building exercise? I better not continue this train of thought. I was clearly letting my hormones get the better of me. I couldn't afford to slack off. Not when I was the producer. With a grin, Mika waved as she went home. Alright, and with that day done, I think that is where we are going to call an end to today's episode. Thank you guys, as always, very much for watching. I hope you are still enjoying Shining Song Starnova, and I'll see you all next time.